Imagine holding a book, a simple object, pages between covers, words arranged in neat lines. But every finished book is the result of a deep dance between technology and tradition, precision and creativity. How does a blank roll of paper transform into a finished book on a store shelf? Let's unravel this journey step by step, moving from pulp to print, from loose pages to a bound masterpiece. Consider a classic poem that asks, "A book is a dream that you hold in your hands." In this case, transforming that dream into a physical reality requires quite an array of machines, materials, and skilled people working in sync. First, think about the very beginning, the paper itself. Most commercial books start out as giant rolls of paper, sometimes taller than a person. Imagine spools weighing hundreds of kilograms, loaded by forklift onto the printing press. The paper's thickness, color, even its opacity, are all chosen based on the type of book to be produced. A delicate novel, a weighty textbook, or a glossy photo collection. Before the printing begins, the text and images must be prepared digitally. Modern books are designed on computers, formatted with precise margins, fonts, and line breaks. This digital file isn't just sent to a regular printer, though. The process demands industrial technology. Offset printing. Offset printing, the backbone of modern book production, starts with aluminum plates, each etched with the text and images for a specific color. Most books are in black and white, using just one plate, but full-color images involve 4: cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, the classic CMYK combination. Picture the plates mounted onto rollers on the press. Ink is applied to the plate, which transfers the image to a rubber blanket cylinder and then onto the paper, hence the name offset. As the paper rushes through at dizzying speeds, sometimes up to 15 meters per second, pages of text and illustration appear almost magically from a blur of rolling drums and mechanical precision. Depending on the book's length and size, pages might be printed several at a time, grouped onto large sheets. This is called imposition, arranging pages to maximize efficiency and ensure they'll appear in the correct order once folded and trimmed. After the ink lands on the page, a split-second calculation is needed. The ink must dry, but production can't pause. Some factories use heat and fans, others infrared lamps, or even specially formulated quick-drying inks. It's a small detail, rarely noticed by anyone, but essential for crisp, smudge-free results. The journey isn't over. Now, sheets must become pages. Here, the printed sheets are stacked and folded in precise patterns. For most books, the major unit is the signature, a group of pages folded together, usually in multiples of 16 or 32. Open up a physical book, and you might spot faint sewn-in seams or gathering threads by the spine. That's the legacy of this folding, assembling process. Once signatures are assembled, they move to the next challenge: binding. Every reader knows the satisfaction of a book that falls open easily, without cracking or losing its pages. That's the magic of proper binding, and factories use several methods tuned to the type and cost of the book. There's perfect binding, the method used for most paperbacks. Here, the edges of the gathered signatures are cut flat, roughened with blades and dipped into hot glue. A cover, often printed and laminated for durability, is wrapped and pressed on. Then the glue cools and solidifies, creating that familiar, squared-off paperback shape. For higher-end books like hardcovers, the process gets even more intricate. Inside pages are usually sewn together with thread before being glued into a case, the rigid cover made from cardboard, wrapped in cloth, paper, or leatherette. Headbands and tailbands, little colored pieces of cloth at the top and bottom of the spine. are attached, a vestige of older, hand-bound traditions meant to add durability and a touch of elegance. Once bound, books move to the trimming stage. Giant guillotine cutters slice each edge with deadly precision, turning what were slightly overhanging pages into a uniform block. The goal is a perfectly square book with neat, flush edges, easier to stack, display, or pack for shipping. Quality control is an ongoing theme throughout the process. Some presses use cameras and sensors to track color and image sharpness, while operators regularly pull sample copies to check for misprints, color shifts, or alignment errors. It's rare, but every factory has its horror stories. An upside-down cover, a section printed out of order, or pages missing altogether. Finally, finished books are boxed, labeled, and shipped off to stores, libraries, or distribution centers, ready to land in the hands of curious readers. Now, reflect on this entire journey. What does it say about the relationship between humans and their stories? The fact that this elaborate industrial ballet exists simply to put ideas onto paper shows the enduring power of books in our lives. Despite the rise of ebooks and digital screens, physical books still demand enormous infrastructure, a testament to their tactile, lasting appeal. Every step in the factory serves a purpose, making books affordable at scale, but also reliable and comfortable to hold. The feel of a binding, the sheen of a finished cover, even a book's scent, all come from choices made by engineers, designers, and workers long before a reader turns the first page. It's worth considering a line from philosophy. We are made and unmade by the things we make. Books, as physical objects, have shaped how we think. Their creation process reflects not just technical ingenuity, but our deep urge to connect, remember, and imagine. Where might this process go next? Automation is changing every aspect, with robotic arms packing boxes and algorithms managing inventory. Yet, even as machines replace many hands, the craft isn't lost. Limited edition books are still printed on old presses, hand-bound, and gilded for collectors and lovers of tradition. Why does any of this matter? Because knowing how an everyday object is made gives us a deeper appreciation for its existence. Just as learning the parts of a watch reveals the art inside, understanding bookmaking gives new meaning to every shelf, every battered paperback, every glossy coffee table tome. Next time you pick up a book, pause for a moment. Think about the journey from raw pulp to printed page, from glue and thread to finished masterpiece. You're holding the outcome of centuries of invention, each step hidden but crucial, and linking you to every reader who has ever turned a page and wondered at the world inside.